I think this is quite fitting because this video comes out a few weeks too late. This is now 2019 and it should have come out last year. Besides that, I also don't have any nice clothes to put on, so this is what you get. And as you probably can hear, I'm quite sick. I've been sick a lot these past 2 weeks. Been kind of sucky, but nonetheless, let's get into it. Hello brothers, my name is Daidarius and welcome to the top 10 movies of 2018. And just in case that some people think that what I say is law and therefore I can be wrong about stuff, you need to realize this. This is my personal list, so yeah, but no, this is the list. It's my personal list. I'm just fucking with you. This is my personal list, so this is my opinions. I am biased as fuck with this list, so your list might differ from mine. Which is fine, because we each have different tastes, so your will probably differ from mine. I also need to point out, I will only consider movies that I have reviewed on this channel this year or last year. So in the case that I have seen some movies that I thought were brilliant, but I didn't review them, then they're not on this list. And there's also the fact that there's a lot of movies that I didn't see last year. Creed 2 was one of them, and A Quiet Place was another, so yeah. I also need to point out that I will not make reviews of the movies in this list. The reviews do exist on my channel. However, there will be a notation up here so that linking you to the review for that movie. So just in case you thought that I was going to review the movies again, I thought about it, but then this was pretty long video, so we need to keep it short. Let's just jump into my top 10 list of movies I reviewed last year. Number 10. At number 10 we have Maze Runner: The Death Cure. Yeah, I didn't see that many movies last year, now I think about it. Maze Runner: The Death Cure is, in my opinion, the best way they could have ended this trilogy. This trilogy was kind of special to me in the fact that it had a really great premise, it had a really interesting world, and it has some decent action scenes and some decent acting. And considering the fact that this should be the final movie in the young adult era, or from the young adult era, I consider it a pretty good send-off. Yes, it does have its flaws, but entertainment-wise, it's almost as good as it's gonna get, and it is even heartbreaking in some places. But yeah, as you might have guessed, this is not the most high-quality movie list ever. But I don't mind. I like this movie, so that's why it's number 10. Number 9. At number 9 we have Mission Impossible Fallout. A lot of people thought that Mission Impossible Fallout was the perfect action movie, and I don't really agree with that. However, it is an amazing action movie. It has great stunts, it has some great fight scene choreography, shooting, and just the way it dives into Ethan Hunt's character is something that we haven't really dived into since probably Mission Impossible 3, where he was getting married. Just Henry Cavill in himself is an amazing villain, and I want to see him more in a villain role because he can be extremely intimidating. Have you seen the figure of that man? He can go through a mountain easily. And then the rest of the cast is also bringing their A game, especially Tom Cruise. Is he trying to be the American Jackie Chan? That's a high pedestal to reach, but he's slowly getting there. Anyways, this movie was a blast, and if you haven't seen it, then you need to watch it. Unless you haven't seen the former 5 movies, then you need to watch them first. But trust me, this is one of the greatest action movie series ever produced. This is 5, we don't count 2, but this is 5 very solid entries to an action series, and this one is one of the best. How do you do that when you are on the 6th entry? How? Well, I guess that's why it's number 9. Number 8. At number 8 we have the most artsy movie that I saw this year, and it is Annihilation. Annihilation tried a lot of things, and some of the things didn't quite work out. However, the visuals, the characterization study of our main character and some of the other characters when they enter into this soap bubble thingy is quite interesting and is quite intriguing. Now, I won't say there's no dull moments, but when the movie takes its time, it does it for a good reason. It's to embrace and going on a journey into the human mind, especially when it gets fractured. And that's pretty much this movie in a nutshell, is fracturing things and putting them together in ways they shouldn't be. And also it has a pretty terrifying bear scene. Ugh. So yeah, this is not a movie for everyone, but for those of us who do enjoy these kind of movies, it actually managed to do quite a lot. Number 7. At number 7 we have the best animated movie of 2018 of those I've saw and has reached my country. So sorry, Wreck-It Ralph, I will get to you this year. But that is Incredibles 2. Incredibles 2 is kind of a mixed bag because it is retreading a lot of the former movies, but I do think it does enough new and interesting things with the retreading that it deserves to be on this list. And of course the animation is top notch, voice acting is top notch, the directing is top notch, everything is great. It does however suffer from the fact that this is the sequel to The Incredibles, one of the most imaginary movies jumping into the superhero genre. So it is not as original as the former one, however I do think it delivers on most aspects, especially the family aspect of this movie is great, but there are some characters that gets thrown into the background, which is unfortunate, but you can't have it all. I mean, we waited 13 years for this movie, not 15 years. We waited 13 years for this movie, and I'm pretty sure this is as good as it's gonna get. And to me, it was actually a great movie. I mean, I am definitely buying this on Blu-ray, which is why I got the rating, so. Number 6. At number 6, we have the best musical this year. I won't say you can call it musical, but it is Bohemian Rhapsody, the depiction of a legend. This movie is kind of iffy because it takes so much freedom with the history. I mean, you were kind of sitting there and wondering if anything of it was true. Of course, some of it was true, but just the way that they chopped up the timeline and threw in some new things and made a lot of things up does take some of the magic out of the movie, but nonetheless what you're left with is a character piece that make you understand and feel for this character. And just the cinematography and the acting alone is top par, and the way the story is told is genuine fantastic. You really go on this journey and you kind of feel the lows and highs of Freddie Mercury's journey through his life up until the Live Aid concert at the end of the movie. So calling a biopic, I'm not really sure you can do that anymore with all the freedom that took, but nonetheless, this is an amazing movie and you need to watch it, even if you are a Queen fan or lying to yourself. Number 5. At number 5, we have one of the most anticipated movie of 2018 for me, and that is Ready Player One. Ready Player One did something I thought was impossible. Yes, it does ride on a lot of nostalgic values, but just the way it brings all of these elements together and make it work for the story, make you care for the character and the world they live in, is just a feat of its own. And I just love the way that Spielberg, he shoots action scenes. There's just some great gravity and reality to them, even though that you can clearly see they are CGI. You really feel when something hits something else or something explodes. It just has some reality to it. And of course, what Spielberg does best is characterization and characters interaction, and it works wonders here. And I mean, just the amount of Easter eggs in this movie and the fact that it don't take away the focus of the main story. It's just something else, and I can't wait to get this movie. Yes, I haven't bought it yet, even though I am gonna buy it. But this is a movie you need to watch on a big screen with a great sound system. So maybe hope that they show it in cinema again? I don't know. Number 4. At number 4, we have the most anticipated movie of 2018 for me. That is at the top of the list. And it is a movie 10 years in the making. That's right, Avengers Infinity War. Holy fucking shit. I think this is probably the most comic book movie in live action form you can get. It cannot be any more comic book movie-ish than this. Just the scope of it and the fact that it's been building up for 10 years, that you have this completely insane amount of character in the cast that you need to focus on, and everyone gets this moment to shine. Everyone gets something relevant to do that is fitting for their characters. And of course, we finally got to see Thanos in action, really in action, instead of just some extended cameos. And he was magnificent. And just the way they're using the gauntlet in itself was something I was very worried about. Because the MCU haven't really shown that much of imaginary usage of these powers that the heroes have. And now we have the Infinity Gauntlet that can bend the universe to your will. But no, they didn't really nerf the Infinity Gauntlet. I mean, they did nerf the Infinity Gauntlet, but they didn't nerf it in a way that I thought they were gonna go. I mean, just the fact that Thanos throws a freaking moon at our heroes just go to show that they're meaning business in this movie. And like, I just can't wait for Avengers Endgame. This was probably one of my most favorite movies of the MCU ever. Well, until Endgame comes out, if it delivers. I'm just hoping. Number 3. At number 3, we have one of the weirdest love stories I have ever seen put on screen. Shape of Water. Shape of Water is one of those beautiful movies that has a premise you're not really sure if you're on board with, because it is on the border of bestiality, but just the way they present it is just so beautiful and innocent, and you just can't help by cheering on this couple, even though it is completely insane. I mean, he's a fucking fish. He's not a fish. He's an amphibian creature. I couldn't help but smile. And just the fact that we have this mute character who just sees the world in a different way, just finds some light in her mundane daily routine. It's just something else. And just the whole movie is just a beautiful arts piece that I don't really think that we get often enough. And when you consider this is an original story, it just makes you appreciate it even more. I just hope that we see much more of these kind of movies. Not just the subject, but these movies in general. I really like this movie, and I'm pretty sure you will like it too. Number 2. At number 2, we have the best animation movie created last year. I know what I said about Incredibles 2, but we gotta give it to SpiderMan Into the Spider-Verse. It's holy shit. Holy fucking shit. SpiderMan Into the Spider-Verse was the only movie that I gave my highest rating last year. The only one. And I mean, I did restrict myself on not giving too many movies this rating, because I wanted to feel like when I gave the rating, you knew that this movie was something else. And this movie is. The animation style and the characterization and the acting and everything is just perfect. There are very few fingers you can put on this movie, and it just feels like you're reading a comic book, but it's in the movie format. And I just hope we get more movies in this Into the Spider-Verse universe, if they want to keep continuing that universe. I really hope so, because this is probably one of the best Spider-Man movies, if not the best Spider-Man movies ever made. And I know some of you are gonna say Spider-Man 2, well, I mean, Spider-Man 2 isn't that good. I mean, it's good, yeah, but it's that good, really. Think about it. Maybe it's time this one takes its place. Just consider it. It's number 1. And here we are at the top of the list. A movie that got a lower ranking than number 2, but I don't care, because when I look at this movie is just a better movie than the former one. So you can of course debate why didn't it get the top rating? Well, because what it set out to do, it didn't do perfect as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse did, because what it set out to do, it did perfect. Nonetheless, I think this is the better movie, and it is even a historical art piece. And that is Darkest Hour. Darkest Hour is something else. Yes, even Gary Oldman won an Oscar for his performance, and you understand why, because that is really Churchill you're seeing on screen there. And I'm not talking about the maker, just the performance in itself is magnificent. What I really want to touch upon in this movie is the fact that you know how the war ended. You know how the war went, because here we are, 70 plus years later. And even though you know how the history went down, you're still on the verge of shitting your pants, because this movie makes you fear for the English population. You think that Germany is gonna beat them in World War II. That's how it presents the story. It really managed to put you in the shoes of these characters. And just the fact that the end speech, just probably the end, last 20 minutes or so, I think, of the movie makes you so proud of your home country. I don't care where you were born or where you live right now. When you see this movie, you're gonna get the feeling that you're about to get invaded by some evil doers, and you are prepared to take up your pitchforks and your torches, going out into the streets and fight for your own country. That was this movie made me feel, personally. And I can't guarantee it's gonna make you feel the same, but I'm pretty sure for the majority of you, it's probably the case. And just the fact that they made you see on Churchill not as an unbeatable person, but as a human being in the Second World War, and the fact that he was making mistakes and just trying to figure out a way for the England to get through that ordeal, to me is just the icing on the cake. And that is why that Darkest Hour is my favorite movie of 2018. So it's quite a diverse list. I mean, here you see the list, and yeah, it could have been better if I've seen more movies, but I can't see them all, unfortunately. And since I want to review this movie as they come out and not when they get on Blu-ray or get released on Netflix half a year later, then I'm gonna miss out on some movies, but I hope you can live with that. I've also reviewed a lot of series this year, and maybe I should do a top 10 list on that, but I don't think so. But nonetheless, this is my top 10 list of movies I watched in cinema and at Netflix in 2018. What is your top 10 list? I would like to see your top 10 list. I would also like to hear your reason why. Just a few lines of reasoning of why your list is composed as it is. And hopefully my list this year is gonna be better. Not that last year was a bad year for movies. I think it was a great year, but I just hope there is more amazing movies on there. And hopefully I will see some epic masterpieces this year, but I don't know. I'm not going to review Creed 2, unfortunately. But yeah, I think last year was an amazing year. I did manage to put up videos not every week, but for the most weeks. But I did manage to watch more movies last year than the year before. So it's a plus, I guess. But I will try to watch more movies and give you more reviews, just so we can keep the videos more consistent. But I won't make any promises, because this is just a hobby for me. Anyway, I'm rambling too much, and this should have probably been saved for another video. However, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for a great 2018, even though I don't have that many views. That's not the point for me. The point isn't to get famous and get a lot of views. The point for me is just to have fun and doing something that I love. And I love to talk about movies because I love to watch them. I watch a lot of movies. I watch new ones. I watch old ones. That is also why I love to do reviews of older movies that have come out from years ago. But anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble about some different topics this year, even though they have been hidden inside reviews. That's how it's gonna go. But I might make some topic videos this year if there is a topic I want to discuss. I don't want to put it on or latch it on to a review, because it tends to drag out the review more than it needs to be, and I really want to make sure that the review stays in the 10 to 13 minutes range. And sometimes I don't manage that. I don't accomplish that. But anyways, I do have some plans for this year, and you are gonna get a new conversation with my younger self video. It just takes a freaking ass long time to edit, and I have something I need to work on for the next 10 entries of that. Yes, I'm gonna keep doing it until I'm 40. In case you didn't catch that in the conversation with my 37-year-old self. But I do have something that I need to plan for that, and it's just taking time. So that's what I'm saying. But anyways, I do have some plans for this year. It does, however, depends if I'm able to move places, because I need an office where this setup can be at all times for that to work. But we'll get to it. We get to it. But anyways, whatever you think, whatever your top 10 list is, whatever you have of questions or critique or anything, whatever it is, comment below and me your thoughts. And as always, until I see you in the next video, remember to stay awesome. See ya. Now I need to get healthy again, because I'm tired of being sick. Jesus Christ.